And welcome back to the last run of the day and of the event. We are finishing this off with a new game plus story run of Horizon Forbidden West, showcased by the one and only Greedy Old Car.
What's up, everybody?
Who also has his birthday today.
It is my birthday today. Yes, it is.
Chat, please. I want to see everybody congratulate him.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Woo! Yeah.
And now I will sing happy birthday. No, we won't.
That's funny.
I'm not tempting that DMCA.
That's funny.
All right. Joining in for commentary here is B-Dot. Welcome on in.
Hello. I am here.
Yeah, we're gonna showcase you a little new game plus story today. Yeah, should be fun. Main game stuff.
It'll be lots of fun.
And thanks for all the happy birthdays, guys. I really appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll exit photo mode here. Aloy's having fun.
Also, I think we quickly need to address your camera background.
Oh yeah. I got the tall neck, the Lego tall neck for my birthday today. My wife and kid got it for me, so I quickly pulled Aloy out right there. My kid had a frog, so I was like, oh, that would be perfect. And then I took a little photo, and I was like, here's my background for the day. So enjoy, everybody. That is a real Lego Aloy. Well, I think I'm ready to go. So some things to kind of go over. We are on New Game Plus, so there is just massive amounts of damage to be done here. All of our weapons are very, very much maxed out with, you'll see a bunch of gold or brown, orange, whatever they look like to you. Coils on all of our weapons. Lots of them are to do massive critical damage or overdraw and reload speed kind of things to make us go faster on story. This is story difficulty, so machines go down very easy. And most of what is difficult about this is really the platforming and things like that. But yeah, we will start New Game Plus. So we'll select story. We skip the tutorial, so we don't do the opening because you don't get any of your New Game Plus weapons there. So it saves us about 10 to 12 minutes on the run if you're really fast at it. And yeah, thanks for all the good luck, everybody. So need to hear a little bit of it, so I'm gonna adjust my thing here.
Have to get just a little taste of In the Flood.
Yeah, just a little bit. Some title screen. We'll skip this one, and time will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, Mr. Carl.
Thank you.
I see smoke.
And everybody's favorite cable car. So we have about 1 minute and 28 seconds here. We start at about 1 minute 29, but Karn is gonna crank us down, give us the lowdown on what's happening here in the Daunt, and we will make our way through the Daunt to an embassy that is going on between the Karja and some of the western tribes, specifically the Tanacht and a few of their sub-tribes. But they're trying to make peace. You guys just saw Elk do the New Game Plus Ultra Hard run for Zero Dawn, and we saw the story there where he defeated the Shadow Karja and defeated Hades, which... I don't know if we watched the special scene at the end, but spoilers, Hades isn't gone. So kind of after the events of Zero Dawn now, we are looking to find out what's going wrong with the world. The world is kind of falling apart. There's giant storms, plant life and animals are dying to a blight, and we're trying to figure out why, because Gaia's not here and we're looking for a replacement for her. She's supposed to be handling all of this stuff and informing her sub-functions how to do so, and she's no longer available to do that. So we're looking now for a backup of Gaia, and most of the beginning 20 minutes of this run is us finding out where that is. So, all right, so we'll get going here. skip a cutscene here with Studious Wadis and make our way through slide canceling. So if you watch the Roots % run that Scar just ran before me, you notice him doing a lot of this sliding. Slide canceling is just doing 2 runs and slides together in order to keep Aloy kind of moving at a fast pace. And so you're going to see a lot of this as I move around when I'm not on a mount. This is the fastest way to move around on foot. So we can roll a bunch like we did in ZD, but they nerfed it here in Forbidden West, rumors being specifically because of speedrunners. That you will stumble after a certain number of rolls, but you can increase the number of rolls and things by getting what's called an evader skill. So, yeah. So we're here in Chain Scrape, and we're going to go and get our first mount here.
The best mount.
Yep. Everybody loves Steve, don't they?
Yes.
You see, B-Dud likes to name his mounts. My mounts have never served me well, so they don't get a name.
But yeah, Steve is the best boy. He's gonna be the fastest way to move around until we get a flying mount later. We have to wait until like 30 minutes into the run to get the flying mount, but yeah, the charger here will do justice. Greedy here is gonna get into his first fight. He's gonna try to take a specific path into this fight to only spawn 2 of those machines, which he did successfully.
Yep. Yeah, we got that. Now we wait for a save circle here and restart from save, and that makes Thurless here climb down a lot faster. He kind of teleports down so that we can get right into this dialogue. We skip. You may not have seen it, but there was a down and left dialogue selection there. As we skip through dialogue, you'll find we have a lot of down and left selections, a few right and right down selections that happen. But so we're gonna kind of do our.
Sorry to interrupt here really quick, Peter. Look at your Discord. I sent you a link to a low latency stream.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Nice. So we went over an invisible wall there to get into this fight. Normally you would kind of follow the bristleback that I ran by, but B-Dud found this nice little jump over the top that you can kind of get there a little bit faster and start the fight a little bit quicker. So we did that. And then another thing that you may have seen in the ZD runs, but popping your map open here in Forbidden West will kind of preload the symbols on the map for you. So it's a thing that really saves you time, because if you just open your map and wait for something to pop up to fast travel to, you can waste 2 to 3 seconds every time. So there are a few points in the run where it pays to just kind of pop your map open and save yourself some time. And you can really push the center button on the controller really fast. You don't have to wait for anything at all. You just have to hit it and then turn it right back off. So, and here on PS5, it's pretty fast.
That's what I've been.
So Aaron is complaining about. Oh, I'm falling. It's a little late. He's complaining that we left so fast after the last game without saying goodbye. But then we tell him, hey, we're trying to save the world. So yeah, we had to go. So anyway, he's got a broken rib. He's going to head off to Barren Light, and we're going to go and clear out some more bristlebacks here. Ooh, too high.
One less machine.
Sir, I need you to go down.
So he has 3 bristlebacks to go down right here, and then once he kills like 2 of them, more spawn up at the top, and he's gonna try and do a propel shot to get both of them. He didn't get both of them with one explosion, so he had to do a quick backup shot there.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes you can get them both, and it helps for sure.
And take note that he's where he's placing the charger. He's setting up the position so it's right there that he can get on right to get to the next. So he can immediately go to the next town to get the fast travel point.
Yep.
Which it's quite precise there, because you have little time to get the charger into position, because if you start moving away very quickly, he'll start following you, so you have to get him like in a standing position and then slowly
kind of make your way over to Belna, and sometimes she's not even close to where you need her to be, so you may get more or less time to kind of do everything. So she was pretty close that time, so I had some pretty good RNG.
Give Wadis to Barren Light.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Olvind, who's the guy who's kind of the mob boss here in town. He's kind of shut everything down because of the bristlebacks, so we went and cleared them out, and now we're getting everything restarted up so that we can start up the embassy. Basically telling them to kick rocks. You can't tell people what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
The chain scrapes back to work. Merchants should be.
Gonna head over here, and part of the quest is to upgrade your original bow. So that you can have acid arrows to fight bristlebacks. I obviously didn't need that here because we're overpowered and this is story. But part of the original game is to do that because they're really weak to acid. You can shoot the canisters on them and they explode and die. So we're gonna fast travel off to Barren Light. Oh, it's sub 7. That's pretty good. So now we can head to the embassy because we've done everything we need to.
First, I could resupply at my stash.
We're gonna do a neat little skip here that kind of saves some time and dialogue time and stuff like that.
And maybe.
Really? But
Yeah, normally there's an invisible barrier and you have to wait until you walk up with
Yeah.
full on.
This guy will walk up real slow, like. But we can jump over that by kind of climbing the structure here. Some hitboxes we can land on here and here. Little one, and then we just kind of glide around the hitbox here and land up here.
What's nice about New Game Plus is that we have the shield wing at the start here. Otherwise, we would get it after the embassy.
There is a way that we learned through Bingo and through some other folks that we can do it in New Game as well. It's very difficult to do and save time in New Game. You have to get it kind of right the first time. But here you can actually kind of fall a little bit and still kind of save it. But just because you have the shield wing, it's super helpful. Okay, so we're meeting Fashav, who is going to die here in a cutscene we skip. Seems like a really interesting character, and they immediately kill him.
Oh, for sure.
And then you get to read about his history throughout in some data points and scrolls.
We have 3 fights here, so he just killed like 6 chargers with 1 propelled shot. Just killed 2 bristlebacks with another propelled shot, but he also has to kill the human riders on the bristleback.
So decent Grutta.
Yeah, and then Grutta, our overpowered sharp shot bow, we can just shoot him in the thigh. And,
Down he goes, yeah.
seems
Alright, so it was like an 850 embassy. Not bad. Pretty quick stuff,
Pretty
yeah.
good. Definitely better than me most of the time.
There's a lot of time to lose in the opening that is like you barely notice it as you're moving through, but you do like you can get something. I've gotten as low as like an 840 or 838 or something like that. So but there's a lot of time in the beginning there you can just kind of lose time. So here we're gonna hope for map. You're gonna hope for a decent fast travel. We got it. Let's go. The map didn't want to open, but I got first try fast travel on the tall neck, which we saw Scar utterly fail at last time. So. Which isn't his fault, by the way. It is just something that is very finicky. So we try to make it work, and sometimes it just doesn't want to. Sometimes it works first try. Sometimes you can open and close your map a few times. Other times you have to restart from save and keep trying. So it's a very finicky mechanic in the game that's called rumors or something like that. I haven't done it in a while. But you hear
rumors.
Yeah, you hear about things.
May I quickly interrupt?
Sure.
Are we, or do we have any possible predictions for skips in this one? Because I'm just getting
Tall neck.
myself.
Will I die jumping off the tall neck?
Yeah, but that's all the way up.
That's at the end. Let's see.
But I guess, yeah, tonic, we can do that.
Will the slaughter spine live or die on the way to Thebes? Will I get an apex or a regular one, and will it die? That's always a fun one. That is actually RNG.
This is it.
Yeah, that
Location of the
is
coordinates are scanned from
in.
the spire.
Yeah, also a bit.
Anything in Tau? Will you fail any of the Tau skips?
Maybe not. No,
No.
I'm not too worried about it.
Check it out.
Yeah,
gotta check
the
the time.
slaughter spine could be fun.
56, so
it's-
12 minutes. Yeah, not a great time. But
Yeah, the slaughter spine also still has quite a few minutes until.
oh yeah, I'm trying to think here. Whoa, too close to it now. There's only a minute left, but igniter skip would have been a good one. Will I screw it up? But that's my skip coming up here. So we'll be about 12 minutes into the run when I start running again. Right now I'm waiting for a hologram back there. Silence is talking, as he loves to do. And then we were waiting basically 1:04 from when I activated the console to get him to talk, where I need to wait. I can't go beyond this berry right there, basically that area, before that hologram is over, or I have to listen to it again. And again, that's another minute of time loss. And I'd have to go back and restart it. So there's just more time loss there. So we wait here. You can wait back there, and there's certain cues when he talks, but ultimately it's about a minute that you have to wait here. So at my timer at 12, I'm going to start running here in 1, go. Get a little save circle, and then I'll get a data point.
Very good.
Yep. I'm right on time. So we'll kind of run here to a cave where Silence has, we found out, drug Hades, our wonderful friend from the first game who tried to destroy the world using the Shadow Karcha. He's about to die here, for reals this time. But then Silence is going to be like, haha, I led you here. I knew there was a backup of Gaia, and then we're going to pick it up.
This goes. I guess Silent. That must be the
And I just failed my own skip. That would have been a good one.
Oh no.
We're fine.
Yeah, I forget how much time that saves, but it's...
I'm gonna have to, it's fine, it's like 30 seconds. Well, that's bad. That's really bad. I thought I could go back with the, restart from save. It put you back outside, but it kept me inside here, so that's weird. Anyway, bummer. That's marathon luck for you.
Alright, but just
Essentially how it would have worked is like, so he, like he explained a little bit, he's trying to avoid the dialogue there, going around that corner.
Yeah.
He slid a little bit too far around that corner and got too close to the machine.
Yeah, I got caught on the wall right here.
Yeah.
Normally I would turn here, and looking at this would cancel this dialogue right now that Silence is saying and immediately give me a schematic. But since I activated the dialogue, that should interrupt that one. And now I have to wait like 30 seconds for him to give it to me so that I can craft it. This is something I found because we used to be able to run down into the water, which I can't do now because I have a breathing thing basically that allows me to speak underwater, I guess, too. So it doesn't cancel dialogue when we go underwater, especially if Aloy's talking. So here we would have used a dialogue to cancel another dialogue, which is something that happens a lot in this game. So I finally got the schematic. I can craft this. Restart from save to go back inside. Now I can actually go inside, so pretend that worked. Alright, so
oh my god, it worked. You're the best, Fruity.
I'm so great at this. Yay! So I'm gonna eat some food here. Go inside.
finally.
And if you played this game casually, you might think, oh, I remember this room. This room sucks. Oh my god, it takes so long, and there's so much lore, and oh my god. Well, we're gonna skip all that.
There's another gene lock door on
I might not even touch the water if I'm lucky.
That's where any Gaia backups would have been stored.
I don't know why she did that, but it still worked.
I don't think I'm gonna get to the door from here.
All right.
Dip your toes into the water a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. She really had to prove me wrong, yeah. She's good at that, though. She's a contrarian, Aloy.
Very clean that, though, being able to use that jump from that middle platform to get the full cast.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to just do that than the other way, like when you'd go up the side there, which I can do that too. It just, I screw it up a lot more. So she like either falls or doesn't, like she'll clip something during the jump. So I just, instead of doing that, I did the more consistent jump off to the left and get a pull cast point. But we can kind of climb up on this very platform I jumped off of and then jump over to a handhold that will allow us to basically jump over to the platform that I landed on. So there's several different ways to make it work. You can also climb up and get that pull cast point from the water as well. And I guess we haven't touched on it quite yet, but I do have a tutorial series on the Horizon Speedrun YouTube channel called Learning the Horizon that goes over all of the finer points of the Forbidden West New Game Plus runs, both all the platforming for story and ultra hard, and all the things that are different between them. So if you're looking for something to learn the run, that's available as well.
Okay.
All right, so
Circular pods are repositories.
got a nice fight skip coming up here. If Vito, if you want to talk about the Spectre Gauntlet a little bit.
Yeah, so the Spectre Gauntlet was a weapon that was introduced in the DLC. DLC released like a year after this game came out. And it changed up a lot of stuff with a lot of different, just programming in general, effective movement and stuff. But one thing it added was the Spectre Gauntlet that we could bring to New Game Plus, and has this big explosion radius where if you shoot just right, it can actually affect multiple holds. So Gritty just shot that first hold and it affected the one right above it too, and now he's gonna shoot this one and hopefully get all three. Boom, there we go. So instead of having to shoot individually each one 6 times and wait for that little cycle for them to recharge, he only had to do it in 2 cycles.
That was a really good fight.
Good.
Yeah, really good fight. You'll see that I was able to kind of shoot through some of the hitboxes on the what they call the recluse spider there. Basically what we just found out there was that was a place where Hades and Gaia were tested in order to show that, like, when Gaia screwed something up remaking the world, that Hades could take over, do his job, and then give control back to Gaia and say try again, basically. So there were Hades backups and Gaia backups in there. All the Hades ones are destroyed. They got rid of them all before, you know, setting things off. There's another skip here that is basically a perspective skip. We look at a place where the game thinks we made it further than we did and gives us an objective. But as for the story, there's a Gaia back up there, a couple of them that are left over, so we grab one of those. We also get interrupted by some Zeniths who we'll find out pretty soon their backstory. They're people from space, and they have another copy of Aloy that she's like, okay, how the hell did you get here? So
Yeah,
we'll find out more about that later. Really good mount spawn.
Ooh, yeah, nice. Yeah, just like Zero Dawn, the mount spawns here can they depend on like where you're looking and
your placement. Yeah.
Yes.
How close you are to, like, right there, there's a mountain kind of on our left. There's a big rock wall there. So if you're a little close to it, the mount might spawn way to your right. And on your way to your right, there's some trees and rocks and a whole tall neck that the mount is terrified of. So if it gets in kind of the tall neck's line as it's running, it'll actually turn and run away from you all if it thinks it's going to get hit. So there are some weird finicky things with that call there. And it's nice to get it to kind of show up straight in front of you. So anyway, we've got our backup and all that stuff, and now we're in Plainsong, trying to find the first sub-function that we've located after getting a backup of Gaia. A bunch of stuff that we skipped showed that there's other sub-functions out there, and that with our backup we should be able to find them, but she does need sub-functions in order to work. Otherwise she's just a basic kernel program. She can't really do anything other than guide her sub-functions. So we got to look for them in order to reconstitute Gaia. The first one we're looking for is Minerva, the one that shut down the robots at the end of the last game. The Pharaoh robots that destroyed the world, the ones that Hades was trying to bring back. Minerva's the one that shut them down with the code. She had to work for years after all of humanity and life on the planet was extinct in order to actually figure out the codes and broadcast them to shut everything down. So now we want to find her so that we can connect her with Gaia and bring Gaia back. So that's where we're headed now, to a cauldron called Tau, which has a lot of really fun skips.
It really does.
This is my favorite split. Hands down.
Those Utaru look like they could use some help.
It's one of my favorites as well. It's really nice in the first like third of this, like in the first act of this game, there's a lot of skips. So like Dev Store, we had that big skip that skipped the big room, and now we're gonna have Tau skips where every room that we skip, normally you have to go through a puzzle that takes like a couple minutes to go through, 2 to 3 minutes, and it's gonna take us like 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, we're not gonna do much of anything. Mount, I need you to go down, please. Thank you. Good mount.
So Greedy goes a very specific path here to try to get the mount inside. You're not supposed to have the mount go inside this cave, so that was very fast and speedy.
That was pretty clean, yeah. It can go a little bit better. It can literally jump up and then jump down in there, but you kind of have to take that angle. So you saw I just activated a Valor Surge that we've seen both yesterday and today, but this is called Chain Burst. And what this is going to do is chain damage together from the first one to the last 2, and I can get them before they come through the shield that way. And now I can get to the door and open it right away. So this is just a quick throw that we use that for. And from here, we will start doing nothing but platforming until the final bit of this this cauldron. So.
I love Shane Valor so much. I wish we got to utilize it a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll use it here and we'll use it a little bit later, but yeah, there's 2 major points in the run where it's super useful.
It takes over places like these. Next killer machine.
I know you get to use it a lot, but yeah.
Okay, Aloy doesn't really want to do anything right now, so that's cool. Anyway, we're doing Tau 1. So I'm going to jump.
Tau 1 has a lot of different ways that you can go about it. This is the most popular method.
Probably the most consistent way to do it, yeah, without a few tougher mechanics that we've found, so that was pretty clean. I'm going to restart from save. So every time we override something, there's a timer that we have to wait for to recharge. So if we don't restart from save, we won't have it done, and we can't get to this node. We'll have to sit here and wait to override this one as well. So we just do this each time, and then we'll have one more that I won't have to do that for later. But yeah, we'll see here. So 2 skips down, and basically I'm doing this jump slash in order to get some height. And if you open your glider kind of on the upward jump, she will get this like really fast, straightforward glide that stays up high for a little bit longer than it normally would if you just hit jump and then open your glider. Another way to make that happen is to hold X and square at the same time on your PS5 controller, and just like she will jump in the air and open her glider at the top of her jump, and that gets you a little bit more height and a little bit more distance, and that helps us to grab ledges we wouldn't be able to normally grab. It helps us to do quite a few things as far as platforming goes, so and that's something like B-Dud was saying, there was some updates to kind of the code and how things work when the Burning Shores DLC came out, and it really broke kind of the jumping and flying mechanics for us. So we started saving a lot of time after the DLC came out. So I got kind of a crappy long leg there. He's not supposed to come out so fast. I should be able to shoot them behind the thing there, but that's fine. We did okay. Sometimes that's RNG. I don't know why it came out the way it did, but anyway, that's Tau. We have to wait kind of for a certain point to kill the Grimhorn there, and then we turn around and go get those other ones, and then override this. And basically by overriding cores, we can now override more machines if we scan them, and we correct their cores at a base that we're about to go into. So this part we usually call the base. It's where we establish kind of our home spot for the game. This is kind of a facility where the people who were meant to be reborn as part of Zero Dawn were supposed to kind of help control things from here. And they never got to do that because they were never taught, because Ted Faro destroyed Apollo, and they never learned how to use all this stuff. So here it is for our taking, and right now you're hearing a synthetic voice that is Minerva telling us to go away, because of course she's scared of everything and everyone that isn't Gaia. So we are making our way in order to reassure her we mean no harm, and that we want to reunite her with, you know, what she's used to.
Way to get us in.
You sure we shouldn't come with you?
Well, yeah,
right.
Could be dangerous. Let me make sure it's safe.
Okay.
We'll be right here if you need us.
So we've got to climb up an elevator shaft here.
About done with Act 1. So yeah, he's gonna climb up here. He's gonna do specific handholds to make sure he goes the most direct path. Sometimes you can move a little bit like left or a little bit up before you jump to the next handhold, and it'll use a slower, or faster climbing animation. Otherwise she'll do this like big leap.
Yeah, I've had a lot of trouble getting that to work recently, where it's like all smooth as butter. She does the jump for me most times lately. I gotta practice that a little bit, but got the roll through the grate there. There's a little backwards movement I did there if you didn't see it. You can't roll right away, but if you back up just a little bit, it allows you to kind of roll there. We're gonna do a couple wall jumps here to kind of climb up. This is avoiding a whole big climb around that we would normally have to do to get through this part. It takes a little over a minute and a half if you do the climbing normally.
The storms.
I'm gonna jump over here so that I don't have to climb.
Figure out who those strangers in the proving lab were.
And again, they said for HCD, climbing is a thing that we try to avoid doing at all costs because it's slow. So I did get the slide and roll there as well, so this is turning out to be a pretty good climb so far through the base.
Alert. System core penetrated.
That's what she said.
I have established a network between your focuses, allowing you to communicate when apart.
Alright, so we're gonna head down here.
So what was
Get the
this
Zoe
place?
skip, hopefully.
A regional.
So this was supposed to be.
There she is. Good girl.
That was its intent.
So I'm now gonna use another dialogue
Some of them
to cancel the dialogue.
recovered.
Getting ideas.
And she says getting ideas, I can take off back into the lab. Cancel this out, because you have to look at that in order to keep the story going.
Data from machine parts to fix the corrupted override.
Sometimes we can get what's called Zoft locked. Z-O-F-T. And Zoe gets kind of stuck in one of those doors, and she won't be there for the skip.
Yeah.
So this is what we call dialogue percent. It's about 35 seconds of skipping dialogue that really makes your hands tired.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the longest dialogue mashing that you have to do in the game.
What?
Really big lore dump and, you know, kind of tying things together here.
Besides,
But we're choosing to go
makes-
after Ether.
Yeah, so they reveal a lot here, and now, so we're gonna have 3 sub-functions that we need to go to. The game breaks out to allow us to choose with the order that we want to go to, so we have a chance
let's bring Ethan
to,
back for Gaia.
there's some
Laurel and Zoe are waiting
special
for
routing that we
us.
can do here to either go to Ether first, Poseidon first, or Demeter first. And the way that we choose to do it, that we have found to be the fastest, is to go start the Poseidon quest, but then
Functions.
go forward to do Ether's quest. And that's mainly, for one, to get the fast travel point, and two, to the start of the Poseidon quest needs you to get parts, so we're going to get the parts as we do the other 2 main quests. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Greedy's going up to the top of the mountain because he needs to get his new favorite mount. Steve had the spotlight for the first half hour, but now we're
Moving on to Richard.
gonna moving on to Richard. That's what I call the flying mount. So Richard has a lot of fun capabilities here. So you see Greedy's gonna do some barrel rolls repeatedly and forever,
Peppy's real proud of us.
making Aloy stick forever, because it is marginally, well, it's just very little faster to barrel roll than just flying straight.
Yeah, you'll notice I'm kind of
used to-
taking an angle where I kind of turn a little bit left and then I roll back to the right. You roll a little bit faster if you're moving to the side. So you cover kind of like 30 meters at a time as you move through, or 30 steps, or 30, whatever the count is for our compass up there. But it's really, throughout the run, I think you save something like 1 minute and 20 seconds if you do this really well.
Yeah, the measurement I usually use is that for every minute you save about 5 seconds if you do your barrel rolls good. And yeah, we have like 10 to 12 minutes that just involves flying in this run.
Yeah.
So
There's a good amount of flying in this for sure.
Grady just got a checkpoint there for a campfire, and he's gonna use that campfire to fast travel back to start making his way to Ether after he starts everything in the desert here for Poseidon.
So I'm headed to this that kind of Asian style building that I don't know what you'd call it over there, like a pagoda or something.
Yeah.
But it's where I'm headed to that building. They call it the Tower of Tears here at the beginning because there's water pouring out of it. But basically, we're gonna go and start a quest for Poseidon. Meet some lovable group of actors and poets and salesmen, super fun folks, Moreland and gang, and we're gonna start a quest to make a diving mask for them, so that they can pick up some stuff that is way down under the water, that is in this place. But come to find out that Poseidon is here, and he is the one that's making it, you know, hard to get down there because he wants to be left alone. Obviously, they all are running away and hiding now that they're not connected to Gaia. So we'll skip through this dialogue and head down and get a pressure container, basically, that we'll use for kind of like the pressured oxygen that we would use for a diving mask.
Hey, look. More. Come on. Oh, fair.
Everyone's favorite line.
There's a butt.
There's a but.
I'm on it.
About
There's a butt.
great.
As you skip through the dialogue, Moreland said there's a but. It's 2 different lines, but he goes, there's a something, and then the next one is but. And so it kind of goes together. And there's the emote. Cue the emote. All right, so we're going to surface from the water. We get a save symbol there, and I'm going to restart, and that puts me kind of outside, but I have to take a few steps forward, and then I can fast travel. You can't fast travel from inside the building, so you have to take a few steps forward in order to fast travel out to this campfire that B-Dud mentioned I just got. Now I'm going to jump, call my mount, and we're going to head off in this direction, towards the marker on my compass up there. So over here, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So the reason that we went to Poseidon there, mentioned a little bit, we started Poseidon and then we instantly fast travel away to go to Ether. And that's because, like Gritty was mentioning a little bit, we have the diving mask that we have to craft if we have to go underwater to get that part. But the other parts is going to be from like a long leg and from a bellow back. So normally there's like a main quest to have you go further out into the desert, but we realized that it's not actually required to go out into that extended part of the desert. So what we can do is utilize paths on the main routes of Ether and Demeter. So we're gonna get a bellow back part, like drop off at a hunting ground on our way to the Catalo after this next part.
Yeah, I'm going in this.
Back part.
Yeah, I'm going in this building, and then I'm gonna head out to the hunting ground. So.
Yes, which yeah. So he has to go in here, get some dialogue, cutscene. He's gonna be very careful with his placement with Richard as he gets off it right here, because as you get close to these settlements, you can't get the mount too close. If you do, there's a chance that when he comes back out and tries to get grapple onto Richard and fly away, that
won't be able to.
It just kind of like knocks him off, or you're not able to move pretty much. So he tries to make sure that it's like 10-20 meters outside of that boundary area so he doesn't get stuck.
Unfortunately, with the flying mount, it tends to fly in a circle after you get off of it, so it may just be over here, or it may get stuck on things like it looks like it might be now. Nope, he's out there. We're good. I should be able to get on here, as long as he doesn't get blocked. Okay, we're good. It actually worked out really well. Or not. Yeah. Or not. I lied. Alright, we're good.
Oh, no.
He got stuck in the tree. We're good. It's fine. I thought he would stay where he was when I got on, and I could just turn and go through the gap there, but he kind of kept going forward and got caught in the tree. So that's what we're talking about with the mount. Like, he kind of circles around out there, and depending on where he is, he can kind of get caught up in things. It's something you deal with in these runs, and sometimes you can get a really good placement. Sometimes you just get garbage. Marathon runs, they tend to be garbage. So anyway, yeah. We are headed off to a hunting ground now, which is just over this ridge of trees and then one more ridge. But off to that mountain on the right side is kind of where we're headed. There's a village called Stone's Crest, and that's where we're going to meet a marshal for the guy that we very briefly talked to inside that building back there. And he's the only one left, basically. He was at the embassy that we fought at earlier. But his name is Catalo. He lost an arm in the embassy, and he becomes one of our companions throughout the run. But we are going to do a quest with him to get the ether subfunction. We'll do about half of that quest, and then we'll move on to get another subfunction called Demeter, where we'll meet a companion named Alva. And then we'll do ether, we'll finish that up, and then we'll go finish Poseidon. So that's kind of where we're at. So just over these trees is the hunting ground. I'm going to drop off down here and get this bellow back. It's actually taking a really good line. Didn't die from one, but that's fine.
I don't know if you use it intentionally, but that big long tree is always a visual point of where I drop off for the bellow back.
Yeah, the one right there. Yeah, I usually try to run my Sunwing into it because it leaves him in a fairly decent spot to get back on. It took me a second to find him there, but I think he got stuck on the tree, like for real. So anyway, we head over here, and on the edge of this town, Catalo will be kind of sitting there. You can see him brooding on the end of the cliff. So we use our glider, talk to Catalo. He tells us about Regala's movements, who is the person who attacked the embassy.
What are you doing? On me.
Jumped a little late. That was weird. Anyway.
Yeah, so this part that Greedy's doing is something that's a little precise. It's Catalo basically the Katalo skip, and he's gonna immediately, as you saw him do, he immediately jumped off the edge right after that dialogue, and it kind of messes up Katalo's AI. You're supposed to follow along with him on the path. You can't usually just fly here, but if you jump off immediately off his nav mesh AI path, then he's constantly waiting for a chance to just teleport to the first place that you go along his nav mesh AI path. So we can just fly straight here, teleport him, and it works. But yeah, if you wait too long there, then you literally can't teleport him and have to...
You have to do the whole thing, yeah. It can be real slow. He wants to fight, you know, other Tenakth rebels that he finds there and all that stuff. So if you have to do the whole thing, it can take a long time. But here on, she doesn't want to run at all going up the stairs. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, these are
notorious.
They're really bad. We have to do them in strike runs too to get to the strike board, and like it's just kind of wild and silly. Anyway, we're gonna go over here.
I need to get
we noticed that we could probably find a way to break down this wall. So we're gonna do that.
Distance from the wall.
Basically, we're here
Scan it properly.
because the leader of this part of the Tenakth tribes does not want to kind of submit to Hikaru, who's the overall leader, and send people to be new marshals. He wants to just hold up behind his big stone wall where no one can get him and do what he wants.
Near that waterfall. Power core.
The triggers can be a little finicky here because part of it is trying to figure out that the thing is behind the wall, going behind the wall, but we can also use like fast travels to easily go in and out without having to walk all the way back out here.
Right.
But yeah, it's something where it's like if there was a way to clip through, you can't just instantly clip through to the weapon. You do have to go all the way outside, scan it, go in, and then meet Katalo out there.
And there are some dialogue things that you have to wait for, or you will kind of soft lock. He won't show up. So right now we're looking for a cannon that we can do to, or that we can use to. Ooh, why did she jump like that?
Ooh. So Greedy used a dead Bellowback over there to use a Frost Explosion.
It's a really bad fight.
And that Frost Explosion is going to kill a lot of the human enemies around, as well as the Tremor Tusk there. Get it to do good damage and freeze it. But yeah, fight was okay-ish.
Yeah, I missed a couple shots, that's all. The Bellowback also didn't kill the last guy there that I had to kill. Sometimes it can take him out, but that's RNG about where he is. Anyway, so now Katalo is going to put this cannon that we just took off the Tremor Tusk down. I am going to place my mount again.
Yeah, we have a good, like, 10 seconds for Katalo to get in place, place down the weapon. So Greedy's going to set up the flying mount, the Sunwing, in order to get ready to go to the next position, to Demeter, which is going to be to our what direction is it even?
My right, off here, yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, to the right of Greedy right now.
It's exploding.
Come on. All right. So we got that to blow up. Sometimes you can get that in 3 or 4 shots. It took me a couple extra shots there, but we're doing okay.
Yeah, it can take a minimum of 3 shots, but it's like you have to know exactly where to aim, because it's like you have to blow up some of the rocks before you can blow up other parts of the rocks.
Yeah, it's something I really should probably practice more, as far as like where to stick it first and then where to shoot the second and third ones. But the shots don't actually always fire straight. Sometimes they can list a little left or right. So it's something. So here we're gonna hit an invisible wall that our flying mount can't get through, no matter what we do. There used to be a way to get the flying mount through here that was called Rising Skip, because you kind of let it fly upwards in order to jump off it and then recall it. We can't do that anymore after a patch. The way they patched the way that mounts interact with settlements and invisible walls and things, so that they will never go beyond it. They actually won't even allow you to mount them if you're too close. So we're making our way down, and because our flying mount can't be over here, they don't want you to use it to get inside the Demeter facility. So they've made it so you can only use your charger mount. So we're going to go back to using the charger down here. Just kind of making our way down the mountain real quick. There's our charger, really decent spawn. And we're gonna go through and fight ourselves a new tribe. Someone who's come across the Pacific from the Asian countries to find some answers to why everything's dying and whatnot over there. So these are the Quen. They immediately attack us on sight. They're very
hostile.
Yeah, very hostile. They only kind of care about themselves, and they're a very controlled information society, so only certain levels of people are allowed to know certain things. They're just very dictatorial and, you know, that kind of thing. So we meet someone here after we go through, and her name is Alva, and she's one of their people who kind of get to wear a focus, and their focuses are out of date. They're not new ones, and so they can't read a lot of data, but data that kind of, you know, contradicts the things that they want people to know is called, you know, forbidden data, basically. And they call the story of, you know, what's happened to the world, the legacy, and they think Ted Faro is a hero. So they suck.
So Greedy here is going to be doing this. Normally you have to fight like 6 enemies here, but you can, as long as you don't like touch the ground in this area, you don't have 2 of them spawn. So he props himself up on this ledge here so he can kill 3 of those, just 4 enemies, and then he gets a checkpoint and he can restart from checkpoint and spawn slightly ahead of where he was standing there, pretty much.
I believe these.
But yeah, that the way he did that just kind of eliminates having to kill 2 more enemies, so it's a nice like 10-second time save.
Exactly, yep. Okay. So we're gonna have our first out of bounds of the run here, which is a pretty finicky one. But that's Alva across the way, and she's helping me open up the gate here. We're gonna drop down.
Let's go.
Yeah. So this out of bounds is fairly new. It might look extremely horrifying at first, but I promise you it's actually not too bad. Gritty's gonna use a heavy attack wall cancel to get up here. Yep, that was pretty good.
Got a first try, yeah. She's kind of falling into the gaps here, but that's all right. So we kind of make our way up and climb over. You can glide through this wall. It doesn't actually exist. And we're going to make our way over to jump kind of back into a hole that will put us by a ladder that we were supposed to make it through. So perfect. There we go. Nice. I've been having trouble with that in runs.
Very nice of them to have just a hole there for us to drop through.
Yep.
There is another way you could get through this, but it's extremely precise and annoying.
Yeah, I can never get that other way to work. I really can't. Like, I can't get the prompt or whatever, so.
I started getting decent at it, but even if you do that instead of the hole, it's like the best that you could save is like a quarter or half a second. So.
Right. So I got the bellow back at the hunting ground, and then there's the long leg piece I need for the other part of the diving mask. So you'll see now I don't have to gather any more machine parts as part of my quest there. Kind of a slow pull, but that's okay. We're going to roll in. This is one of the few vents where you can roll inside of it. If you push into that corner, you can roll around the corner there, which is kind of nice. Saves you a little time for crawling through the vent. And you'll notice I jumped through a vent earlier.
There we go.
It's a lot of these things where if there's room to jump, you can kind of jump and make your way through vents, and that makes you kind of move through faster. So.
There's consoles up here too.
Right.
I'm gonna get to them.
We'll get some quick pulls here.
Only the quickest of pulls are required.
Indeed.
Yeah. If you can hop on top of it, I can get you to the
Which,
consoles.
you know, the quick pulls are something that we struggle from time to time, but there's a few things that we try to do, positioning-wise, where we aim. We do it differently depending on the runner and their preference, but
yeah,
there is some way, like you doing the same thing can somewhat semi-consistently pull it off.
Yeah, there's 3 different variations of pulling those vents open, and the worst one takes about 6 seconds. She'll pull it on it twice, and on the 3rd one she'll rip it open. Sometimes you can attach and she'll immediately rip it down on the first pull. So we've been struggling to kind of find the most consistent way to do that, but yeah, it can be a little tough.
Wait, there's data here. A lot, but it's blocked. Something's restricting access.
That's something that we weren't, for like the first year, we didn't even really realize was a thing too. So I know that the meter...
If I can, okay?
Doomed!
But first we have to get out of here.
Our mission is doomed.
Right.
I know Demeter was one split that I always started like losing or gain or saving a good amount of time, and I never knew why. So it was always because of the pull cast.
Yeah, the pull cast, you use it so many times here, so getting the quick pulls on all the vents and things is just the best. Like, you can save at like 10 or 11 seconds by getting them all right, so. It's a very movement-heavy split. Most of them are, but there's a few fights in this one too. So I'm going to restart from save after entering the energy cell here, and that's going to put me directly above where I'm standing, kind of where we entered the room, and that saves me a climb up a ladder here. So, and because it's PS5, it loads pretty fast, so it's faster to restart from save than to climb up.
One little thing to note about that energy cell is that since this is New Game Plus, we have the skill that allows us to move faster carrying heavy weapons, and that does apply to that energy cell as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll run a lot faster. Why did I not slide? You'll run a lot faster on New Game Plus with things in your hands, especially like weapons you knock off of large enemies and stuff like that. So this is one of those points where Demeter got a fair bit faster because you're not slowly dragging that thing along. So, so now that we're done with the maze, I'm going to switch to propelled spikes, and we're going to see a Dreadwing for about a quarter second, and then I'm going to kill it.
Let's find a way to get into the proving.
Actually, I'm going to kill it, and then you're going to see it for about a quarter second. Can you get out, Aloy?
Complex should be test station.
Bang,
this
he's
one's
dead.
always so satisfying because
there he is, hanging from a thread up there. Poor guy, didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, it's so interesting just to see this in a speed run because, you know, we use the knowledge of knowing exactly where it sits.
Yeah. There's a glowing spot just above the door. You can see it as soon as you jump in, and you just throw a propelled spike up there, and it wrecks it every time. Alva, like, teleported to the door there. I don't know why, but she's never that close when I do that. That was strange. So, but she was, like, right next to me when I opened the spot. So we are waiting on a hologram inside there, and that hologram plays and then unlocks a door that kind of helps you get out of the facility here. We don't like waiting, because then we have to run to a workbench and make a dissolution module for these flowers that are kind of blocking the way in different places. We found that this is the place where they learn to teach the chariot line to use biomass as energy. And so in order to combat that, the same people decided to make these things that were called adamantine wreaths. And it was supposed to be basically like fake plant life that the chariot line couldn't break down. And they were going to cover the world in it. They were going to seed the world in it. And they finished it, but were never able to deploy it because they didn't make it.
Ran out of time. At least we.
One thing to note here is that this is very similar to how the Death's Door hologram works, where if you move too far away, it restarts and resets. But unlike the Death's Door one, we were able to do that out of bounds, and it doesn't go out of the range of it. But the range is like 10, 20 meters to the right of Greedy there. So.
Yeah, if you go too far past the workbench, the hologram starts over, yeah.
So it's just the perfect distance.
Okay.
Yeah. Greedy's gonna cancel out the last hit here, the third hit on this flower, by aiming.
Yeah,
let him.
Door's clear now.
Save a couple seconds, yeah, on an animation that normally takes a little bit of time. If you just aim, we find in a lot of things, aiming just cancels so many animations in this game, so. And you'll see that I have acid acid bombs down there on the right. I'm going to use those to start canceling animations as well in the upcoming split. So, yeah. Skip a cutscene here, and we're going to head back to the base. But here we are collecting Demeter, our first sub-function that we're actually collecting, besides Minerva, who we use to constitute Gaia. But it's our first sub-function where we kind of have to run around and make it happen. So, right. We're back to the base, and we fast travel to the campfire next on the east side of the base, never to the base itself, because that will put you kind of down on the ground and away on the west side of the base, and you have to. It takes about 20 seconds to get inside. Here, after we get Gaia, we run to the right down these stairs and get the campfire, and then we go left to kind of go and start. Looking for the sub-functions right away. That's where we started the Poseidon quest. But that campfire is integral for fast traveling back to the base and saving time. So
Afterwards, I must discuss an important matter with you.
So merging, you can see the plant life kind of merging with Gaia there.
So yeah, this is the first sub function that we have delivered. After the first one, you are required to they force you through a spontaneous main quest here that introduces one of the main characters, Beta. So yeah, you're first forced to do this right now, and we have some interesting little skips with the using the acid bombs here.
Than we know about.
Can't believe you fought.
Wish we would get to use this trick more often, but Greedy's gonna basically set up a sticky bomb it explodes 10 seconds after you launch it, and if he launches it on like the last dialogue, it'll push him off and he can start moving over to the next spot that he needs to get dialogue. So this essentially lets us eliminate time, the distance traveling time with all these dialogues.
Right. And so we try to do it on each one. This one's a little tougher. You can't, sometimes putting it too low, it won't work. I think we're good here. And then the last one is going to be me trying to blow myself closer and get her up fast. That actually didn't work. That was too low on the side.
Check on it once it's cooled off.
Yeah, that one's always a little finicky just because of that ledge.
Where I was standing, it's possible for me to toss that bomb way back here if I overshoot. So, and if I only have to overshoot by a little bit. So, so we're not going to get the time save there, but that's fine. If you don't get the second one, it's not worth doing the third one there. And then this last one, we're going to get a little save circle in the bottom right corner when she's done talking.
Are they watching this area?
And that when I restart from save, it'll put me back over by Erend, and I want to talk to him. You'll barely see him here. And now we'll go talk to Varl.
One other thing I want to note real fast is whenever you get a chance to like investigate or examine stuff on the floor like that, Zero Dawn also had you examine stuff like that, but
The Zeniths have their own.
there's a lot of times where you want to start for a crouch position, otherwise you'll have like a 1-second animation where she goes from standing to crouching.
Right.
Oh, but Greedy's gonna not use the sticky bomb method, but he's just gonna place the acid bomb on the ground there, and the acid lingering effect will cancel the animation as Aloy tries to put her hand on the console.
Yeah, and that saves me about like 7 seconds running to the door. Normally you'd be stuck at the console until the door is ready to open. I can be at the door when it's ready to open if I do that, so it works really well.
Some kind of storage room, maybe.
And that's, we'll see that again later in Poseidon. I'll use acid bombs to cancel animations for turning some sluice gates, like big wheel valve gates that, you know, I have to turn open and stuff, so we'll use it quite a bit as we go along here.
236.
So you heard it say 236. We have to put it in 237. That's a message we received, kind of a secret message that led us here. Turns out Beta's in there, and she's another clone of Elizabeth Sobek that the Zeniths made, so... We're going to hop up here. I'm going to put down a acid trap. There's a Spectre that's coming in, which is a Zenith weapon. Putting that down kills it immediately. And then I just head this way.
There.
And there's another Spectre. You'll actually get to see it this time before I kill it at the top of the, you know, where we came in. So.
Got it. I'll follow once the coast is clear.
It's so nice to see how the runs have evolved, because we definitely didn't have a method to like going up to that upper part and placing a trap to kill the Spectre beforehand. We didn't have that luxury for a while in the runs. We would have to wait for it to kill it as it spawned and then open the door below. So
yeah, getting the DLC update was really good for finding quick ways to do things for sure with the glider. So. Alright, so we saw that Spectre. Now we're headed back. We found a piece of a weapon that was... So the Zeniths, we can't fight them. They interrupted us, and I fought Eric, but I dropped the Recluse Spider on him way back after we did the water room. And once we started fighting him, we realized he's got a shield. We can't actually do anything to him. So we have to find a way to do that, like to get rid of their shield so we can fight them. Turns out Silence may have done that. So we have a piece that the first thing we examined in that beta split was a dead Zenith. The rebels that Silence has hired were able to kill her with this weapon. And so we looked at it before we went into the facility, and then we're like, it's too hot, we'll come back. We go and grab it there at the end and bring it back to Gaia. And that is something she's going to look at. But ultimately,
So I guess we won't be making
Silence had learned, shoot, fast travel, from Hades how to bypass their shields, and he's testing it now. So
She's with us.
now we're at Ether, back to get Ether, back at Memorial Grove. So there's a really fun
starting soon.
use of chain burst coming up, and hopefully we'll get an early, what we call an early cool route. So 2 quick throws and I should get a cutscene and then have a snake fight. But we'll see how it goes. It can also go really badly, so we'll see how it is.
This is one of the parts where, you know, there's 20, like around 20 machines that spawn, so it can either go really fast or really slow if things don't want to chain together.
Yep.
But it's definitely one of those opportunities that in the speedrun that we have a chance to drastically go quick.
Yeah, you can save like 35 seconds if this all goes really well. And sometimes this is just a run killer. If your PV is just like no time to save anywhere else, and this one just doesn't want to go well, it can be pretty frustrating. But I usually end up being like 10 or 15 seconds off my sum of best or my gold split on this one. So anyway, we're gonna get a cutscene at the top of this ladder. I'm gonna skip, then I'm gonna proc the chain burst. That's the green paint on the face. Bad. Get all those back there. Oh, not you.
So a little bit of how these waves spawn. There's like roughly 3 waves. Well, that
was not bad,
a little
actually.
bit more complicated than that, but yeah. So yeah, he only had to do like.
Okay, can I get actual damage? That'd be great. I don't know what just happened there.
No crits.
No crits, and then I hit armor.
Regala went after Hikaru and Katalo.
So I can tell you guys about some of the build out for the weapons here. The bow I'm using is a sharp shot bow. It's kind of the long range heavy hitter bow in Horizon. And in the DLC there are coils for it that give it more chances to do critical damage. And not only does it give it a better chance, but it gives it higher critical damage. So we have 5 of those. And it gives us about an 85% chance every single shot to get a crit. So when it doesn't happen, you can imagine we get a little bit frustrated. New Game Plus Ultra Hard runs are very reliant on it. So you can lose a lot of time to just the game deciding not to give you the damage that you should really get. So, but it all is about you hitting spots that aren't armored and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a skill issue to it as well. I'm going to restart from save, and that's going to put me up top here. And then I'm going to make my way.
The words of
Fast travel back to the campfire. We're going to do Poseidon. We now have Ether, so we'll head in and merge Ether with Gaia. Switch to my food for swimming. So you see I have Ruby Sunrise there on the bottom left in my quick menu. It's a food called Ruby Sunrise, and it gives us extra evader skill basically, and that allows me to roll more times or swim faster more times before she will stumble and basically slow down for a bit. That's kind of how they nerfed rolling in this game versus HCD. Yeah, so we're gonna go talk to Varl and Beta again. She's gonna tell us that one of the Zeniths may not be as bad as we think, because she's very interested in who Beta is and asks a lot of questions, kind of wondering if she's like Sobek. Turns out that one of the Zeniths had a relationship with Sobek back when they were, you know, in our time-ish or whatever, present day. And Elizabeth wasn't really that interested at the end, and, you know, they had kind of a falling out, and then turns out that this person joined the Zeniths, and we gave them a copy of Apollo and all this different stuff, even after they tried to hack it from us. So there's all this history there. And that's, you know, the end, basically. When we get there, you'll see. But we...
Alright, quick question.
Yeah.
Should we get a prediction for the Slaughter Spine running? Because that will be soon-ish.
Wait.
As soon as you could probably run it when I do the wiggle, which is coming up. That would be a good spot to start it, I think.
Just options, whether it's
live or die, or you could say Apex or regular, but live or die is probably better.
Yeah.
Get down, get down.
The mask seems to be holding up.
One of the patches for this game, if you guys don't know, was for the game to insert more rebel troops patrolling around the map. There just wasn't a whole lot of them at the beginning of the release, and now you'll actually catch them kind of fighting with machines and stuff more often. And one of them is when we're headed to Thebes later after this. We will run into some rebels that may fight a Slaughter Spine and kill it kind of as soon as it is on screen. But if it's an Apex, they don't show up. So it's one of those things where we kind of guess if it's going to happen or not in my streams. So total RNG, whether it happens or not. It's never the same. So we wait a little bit and look at a door across the way there. There's actually a current that keeps us from swimming that direction, but we have to swim over there, look at a door to start this dialogue here that we're listening to, and then head to this red light. We're going to examine this console, and then we're going to head to kind of drain the water in this place. There's two things that we need to find, two sluice gates that we need to move and open, and then there's a console we need to get to drain everything. So the swimming here is pretty precise, actually. If you do things out of order, you tend to catch things you wouldn't normally, so you want to be very careful about when you press things and where you are. I'm kind of moving sloppily here, but, you know, we're all right. There's going to be a couple of little skips that we do, kind of climbing out of the water in unorthodox ways and stuff, but I'll kind of show those as we go here. They're kind of hard to explain.
According to the map, there should be an access point for the
down here.
South of here.
Switch to my acid bombs. I'm gonna climb up out of here on this culvert. Jump over, ignite the fire gleam. And here's where I'm gonna do another animation cancel.
Let's get rid of this.
So just lay that status effect there on the ground, and now the wheel turns on its own. It's magic. Wow. So I wait for that gate to move, and then I roll into the water. That gives me enough time for her to start the dialogue that we need to, and for it to change the objective. If you go too soon, the sluice gate won't open and you'll soft lock. So you kind of wait for it to move, and then you'll know that you're good. Same with the next room. If you get in the water before the gate moves, you'll soft lock the game. So make sure you wait. Okay, so we're heading over to another one of those little wheel valves that we want to use. We're going to do a climb out of the water that can be a little finicky here. And then there's an out of bounds that we're going to try and do afterwards.
They're really cool out of bounds. You get to see the whole level from underneath. It's you don't get to see a lot of swimming out of bounds normally in games.
Come on, she keeps doing this the wrong direction.
Slaughter Spine prediction is live now, by the way.
There we go. Thank you, Aloy.
Everyone vote.
Will the Slaughter Spine live or die?
All right, now it's time for the wiggle.
It's completely RNG, so throw in your stats.
Okay.
I don't want to turn the camera here.
I just need to activate the emergency current to the main.
And she swam right through. Of course she did. Come on, Aloy. Go down. Go down, Aloy.
Greedy is trying to pivot between two walls right here, and if he dodge rolls into one wall and then finishes the animation to another wall, it'll kind of like push him from that other wall back through the first wall that he tried to dodge into. So there's a little window here where he can like slip through without him getting pivoted between.
She's not doing it at all. Like, she's just literally not doing it. I don't understand right now.
It's really finicky.
She's just going right through. I'm gonna show this, but I should just abandon it at this point. If I hadn't gotten it by now, there's no point in getting it. And I don't understand what she's doing. Hey, all right, it finally worked. Okay. Well, anyway, if that works first time, you save about 30 seconds. It's a pretty good skip. Anyway, I'm bad at this one.
It's one that's more recent this past year. That driver found in part of Burning Shores, and then we applied it to these the main game runs. But
down, Aloy, down.
console I found earlier.
All right.
Greedy does need to look up to see the red light up there to start the dialogue beforehand.
Yep.
But he can just go straight to this door to allow him to go inbounds again.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have a prompt there that's an animation open the door that just lets us to freely get back in bounds. Otherwise, it could have been a problem. Here is an interesting checkpoint. You get a checkpoint after restarting checkpoint. So we restart checkpoint twice, and it'll respawn us in front outside of that tower
that we were inside. Yeah, so it saves us a long swim out, basically.
Yep, and now the water has drained everywhere, so now we can use our slide cancels to go to this next fight, which is with a tide river.
And down he goes.
Just like that.
And I use a spike trap there to make sure he goes down. Again, sometimes with the sharp shot bow, you don't get the crit you need, and so he won't die in one. So I changed to spike traps for that part, and then I'll switch back to propelled spikes so that I can use them in Gemini later on. And in Thebes, actually, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those times where you, it's whether you're willing to go for consistency versus RNG.
Yeah, and I would normally, if I was like world record grinding, I would use the sharp shot bow and try to shoot him in the face to get an instant crit, but we're at a marathon. Let's do the right one.
Yeah.
Bye, Nessie. Bye, Nessie. Absolutely. Yeah, the wiggle is finicky for me. That one didn't go so well. I'm gonna try to forget that ever happened, and all of you should too.
Yeah, it's extremely finicky. I had to play around with it for hours before I understood how it worked really well.
And I do actually understand it. It's just, for some reason, the camera was so stuck up against her there, and she just didn't want to, like, do the right to left movement there. It just, I don't know why. Like, I was pushing right and then left, but she was kind of stuck where she was. It happens sometimes, and that's usually how it goes if it goes bad for me. It's just hard to get it to work again, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that the geometry that you do it with always changes how you should approach it.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the exact right spot there, or you don't hit the right angles, it
can be more difficult. Yeah, absolutely. Jump. Kind of an extra jump there. Oh, I'm on the wrong weapon. She wouldn't do the aim cancel. I'm like, what is she doing?
Yeah, so we always do the animation cancel after a polecast at the top there with by using a slow-mo aim, but you don't aim with the spike thrower out.
So you can't do the cancel that way, yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that was a good jump.
I actually didn't realize that you do that.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That climb out of there is kind of annoying if you just jump up there, so... this is the one place in the run where you'll see a save circle here as you run in the door. You can restart from save, and it's going to put me directly in front of Gaia, so I don't have to run inside and do this. This was something that was on the original version of the game, where we could do this a few times throughout the run, and then they patched some of them so they didn't work, and now this one's back. So, pretty good stuff. Yeah, the spike thrower and the... what else? Something else does it.
Like the bolt blaster or something? I don't know.
Yeah, where you can't actually aim and do any of the cancels and stuff like that. I think it's the bolt blaster. I think you're right. Because you don't get hunter's reflexes with those things. So, which is the skill that slows down time when you're aiming in the air or sliding.
I suggest stopping in Falls Edge.
Anyway,
It's a lowland clan from southwest.
now we're headed off. If you have not, I think the prediction's probably over, but as we cross the water here, at the edge of those mountains, there will be a slaughter spine, and he will live or die. Not by my hand,
is close,
but by RNG's.
50-50.
Ooh. I'd like to see it. I like to see it. So there where those trees kind of disappear into the fog, you want to look right there. Kind of over the top of my Sunwing's head.
So my vote is that it'll explode.
Yeah, he'll blow up with like a green smoke, basically like an acid explosion. I think it's because one of the rebels has like a big gun or whatever that does it, and he hits like one of their canisters or something. Again, if it's Apex, it'll be a bright purple. It'll look really pretty if it lives. And it'll be a bright green explosion if it dies. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna die, because I can't see it yet. If you can't see it from here... Oh no! There it is! He loaded in late. It's Apex! He lives!
He lives!
I see a nice pretty purple too. Doc, look! I found an Apex slaughter spine. Doc! ISO, look! Look what I found! You guys, look how easy it was to find one of these. I didn't even have to, like, make it nighttime, because it's already nighttime. And I didn't have to, like, fast travel anywhere. I didn't have to kill anything. Look. Apex Spiny.
Yeah, just do what Greedy did. Easy.
Yeah, just do what I did. Easy. One of the hardest things to find for a scan in a hundo run is an Apex Slaughter Spine. If you're doing a full game run with the DLC included, there is one guaranteed in the DLC, as ISO and Doc pointed out yesterday, but there isn't in the main game. You kind of have to find one. So we quick save here so that we can cancel dialogue. And then I'm going to call the mount, and he grabbed me right away. What a beautiful mount. And the mount is purple here because we're in the morning, and the sunrise is kind of shining off his face and making the blue light purple.
I want to point out that ISO voted Redog Rage in chat.
Or ISO. Purple mount is purple. This is one of the few places, but if you fly your mounts or you run your mounts in the morning or late at night and run kind of into the sunset or the sunrise, the colors will change. It's funny. So.
Yeah, so now he's blue.
Yep.
Changed over time there.
Now the sun is a little bit higher in the air, so as time moves on, it just doesn't quite do it. But yeah, it's early morning, late night where it happens. So I'm gonna eat my food.
Yeah, because we got another little swimming section coming up here in like 3-4 minutes.
Yep.
Want to extend those dodge rolls as much as possible. So Greedy does a very specific pathing here to try to make sure that Sunwing circles around. Sometimes it's still RNG on how it circles around, but if he's lucky, he can grab onto the Sunwing kind of like right after that conversation ends. You had to wait a few extra seconds there, but...
Yeah, but that wasn't bad. I would accept that in a speed run. Sometimes it can literally be right above you when you finish, and you can just jump and grab it. So it is a thing where you hope for some good RNG.
And he has to land here to get this third jaw to spawn.
Oh my god.
First Apex that we're required to fight, but... Yeah,
I don't know why that's happening.
You can one-shot it if you
by all means,
if you hit
the right spots. Yeah, I tried to get his ammo canister, his gun, and his tail all in one. It didn't work. I missed the tail, so it's fine.
You have been true to your word.
You can also get a crit with a sharp shot bow, which isn't as reliable either. So yeah, it's just a goofy throw. But the 2 shots afterwards that didn't crit or get enough damage, those bothered me. Anyway, we have an unskippable cutscene while it loads the Thebes map below us here. But this is now entering the facility where Ted Faro lived out his days. Lives out his days. He's still alive, turns out. It's a giant blob of cancer, though. So, we find out earlier that the Zeniths have used life lengthening technology in order to make themselves live forever. So the Zeniths that we're fighting are the same people who left Earth in HCD. There are some data points that tell about their departure. We think that they're ancestors or something, or descendants, sorry. No, they're the same people. And they're just the richest, meanest assholes on the planet, basically, even before they left, and they've gotten worse. Oh, that was smooth. Smooth as butter. Out of bounds, let's go.
This is another example of kind of like clipping through the wall like we saw in Poseidon. That one's far easier.
Yeah, because the way you get stuck there is a lot more conducive to like wiggling back and forth like I need to for it to work, going right to left so that I cut through the left wall. There is like a very tight spot there where I just have to wiggle the stick right to left a little bit and it goes right through. Whereas with the wiggle in Poseidon, you kind of have to hold it right and then hold it left, and the movement has to be pretty pretty on it in order to work cleanly. That one, it's just literally you swim into it, wiggle your stick right to left real quick, and it goes right through. So there's a few places actually in that spot too you can go through. You don't have to go where I went. You can pick places that are lower, higher. As long as there's a hitbox on your right and a hitbox of the wall on your left, you'll be just fine. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna put on the business jammies. So because the CO thinks that he is the reincarnation, basically, of Ted Faro, he wears Ted Faro clothes and makes us wear Elizabeth clothes throughout this part. It's creepy as hell.
Luckily, the outfit still is speedrun worthy. Still has the stamina regen and extra weapon stamina that we need for a lot of stuff.
I'll give you that.
And I believe we can auto-equip the coils on it too, right?
Yeah, so we can
use, I mean.
Yep, so if we keep this in our inventory for NG+, the one that we have with the coils we put on it, or the weaves or whatever, will override the one he gives us for the game. So we have some extra coils on this. I have one that makes trapping a little bit faster, and allows me an evader skill as well, because I'm going to lay a trap in a little bit here. I like it to drop pretty quick and in the place that I want it to go. So she has several different trap animations, which I'm going to show you here because I need to replenish my stores here. Ammunition. So we have to wait for this dialogue. But while I do so, I'm going to put down some traps and then dismantle them for resources. We can only carry so much blast paste and volatile sludge.
Yeah, even though Gritty has everything maxed out to the fullest, the max pouch upgrades still don't house enough resources for us to go through
like a whole game, yeah.
Yeah, a whole speed run. So yeah, it's really nice that you know, the skills that we get allow us to dismantle and gather some of the blast paste and volatile sludge back. And it actually works out pretty nicely. Like, we have just enough to refill our pouch before the cutscene spawns here.
Yep.
With only having to wait like an extra 5-7 seconds, maybe.
And the CO is going to show us just how smart he is here with just such an intuitive line. We all love it.
We are getting closer to the heart of this place. I can feel it. Ah! Is that a vent of some sort?
Of some sort.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea, that vent. Rip liquor cabinet.
Not a bad idea. This Thieves is very has very memeable quotes.
It really does, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to place a bomb right here, and I'm going to shoot it in a second here. That's going to take those two guys out. That guy's going to spawn in, and I kill him, and now we're good.
Pharaoh rigged the reactor to overflow.
I love the strats here in every category. Just
Yeah,
because those two elite guards can be a little bit hard to hit, but because of the Quinn elite armor, there's several ways to just deal with them, no matter what difficulty you're on or what equipment you have.
Exactly, yep.
More soldiers up ahead.
So we are on story, so we can slide through the lava without dying. On ultra hard, it will drain your life really quickly. You can still make your way through the lava in certain places, but you have to jump a lot. And here's what we like to call splat percent. The CO gets splattered by a statue of Ted Faro that falls in the game, so that is splat percent or best percent, as we like to call it in my stream. Didn't land that one.
Here's the last little remnant of the infinite jumps.
Yeah, kind of looks like it. Yep. That wall is just slanted enough on PS5, not on PC. The collision doesn't work on PC. To kind of hold our aim, and that will make her hitbox stand there. When the game released, there was a thing called infinite jumps, where if you aimed your weapon that was Hunter's Reflex capable on your way up while you were jumping upward, you would land on whatever wall you were on. It didn't matter where you were. It would make a hitbox for you to land on, and so we could climb any surface. It really made skips basically non-existent. You could just go through anything you wanted to. It still works on PS4. You can do it on PS4 to this day. It works a little bit differently, but it's a pretty neat mechanic if you just want to really visit every square inch of the map. So, and even see some stuff out of bounds. That's kind of cool.
Aloy. Good luck.
So we're gonna get our only view of Rost in the speedrun here. So get ready to say.
You're right. So I look you erased. What?
Oh, hi, Rost.
Bye, Rost.
Bye, Rost.
You're right. I don't.
Find your courage, Beta. We've got a Gemini to get through. We're gonna head back up and start everyone's favorite run killer.
I'll ask the others to make final preparations for the mission.
The Cauldron Gemini.
Yeah, are you? Oh.
Right. Another version of In the Flood plays there. That's really fun to listen to if you got time for that. Okay, you first, I guess.
Now we've come to the one of the most notorious
I couldn't
splits
dodge
in the game.
Yeah, Gemini.
So Gemini is just
I didn't mean to do
fight
that.
after fight after fight, stuff that can, especially for a run that's, I would say mostly kind of mostly stable. The fights, having so many fights back to back, there can be a lot that goes wrong at this part of the run, and Gemini can just be a whole section that you can either lose or save a lot of time on.
Kind of production chamber.
So
Yeah, I've got about 45 seconds to save because I went really bad the skip in my world record. So
I don't know.
okay, so we're gonna kill 2 of these leap flashers, but leave the long leg. We'll kill the long leg when we get over, and there's a bellow back that's gonna spawn where I place that trap, and that's actually the one we want to wait to die first.
Looks like
Okay, that's pretty good. Come on, get up there. Aloy, if you don't mind. Aloy. Come on, Aloy.
Well, that
There we go. Alright. I don't know why she didn't grab that spot. That long leg is gonna really screw me up here because he's gonna jump up there. Me first, me first, me first.
Thanks.
Come on, come on, come on. Thank you.
So
Stay up,
once,
stay
since we left the long leg alive, and
Got them all.
right
it.
after
That was
he,
good.
yeah, nice. We can see on screen there the machine kill shows that the elite blast trap did blow up that Grimhorn.
Yep, that's what I was waiting
and
for,
once
yeah.
The Grimhorn explodes, then we can kill the long leg and it won't spawn any extra machines. We can just continue on to the other
Yeah.
chamber.
Festus cover the floor with lightning.
It doesn't really matter too much which order you do the chambers here, but you know the strategies will change very slightly if depending on the order you go in.
Yeah.
To rewire most of the components in the core, but
Here, Grady is gonna set up some spike traps to,
Take
again,
out a
like kind
few.
of spawn kill 3 different machines that spawn after you start the override in this chamber.
there should be another node to override.
Let's hope it works. 1, 2. And Mark did not hit the last one.
Ooh.
Mark, how dare you? Mark is the claw strider I just shot with the bomb.
Mark causes a lot of problems.
He sure does. He's a troublemaker. Silly Mark. But he gives us volatile sludge if we need it, so, you know, keep that in mind in ultra hard runs. Anyway, that's the bulk of it here. We just have to kill a slaughter spine over here, which is what we heard they were building inside that little shield. So he's going to come up, and he's going to get his comeuppance, and then we're going to move on. This is one of the hardest spots. You can see the ground is really uneven. Aloy catches every one of these hitboxes. It's really silly. On PC, you can slide over this stuff really well. It works great. They kind of made it so that like not everything catches you. But here you're gonna find me getting caught on the smallest spots on the ground that, you know, looks like you would slide right over them, and then you end up getting caught on things. So
I'm heading back.
it's going okay so far. Like that. Like there's a little bump there, and I just kind of get caught or don't slide when I go. So
I'm glad you came along.
I try to keep to the left. She seems to run and slide past some of the spots there, and then just head straight down for Beta and Varl here. And for those that don't know, say goodbye to Varl. We're sending him to a farm upstate.
The core is stable.
Yep, he'll be there for a while.
So the Zeniths figure out our plan here of trying to confuse them and capture Hephaestus. We do capture Hephaestus, but then they show up and Varl tries to defend Beta and dies. And so we get saved by one of the Zeniths, Tilda, who we can hear her voice here, played by Carrie Ann Moss, Trinity from The Matrix. So, you know,
Done so soon.
but she'll be our our guide to the world of the Zeniths for the end of the game. Right there, we can do a huge lore dump about kind of her relationship with Elizabeth back in the time before the world ended. But we skip all of that and head back to the base.
Yeah, this is a
And
speed
we
run.
have started the prediction for the next skip, whether it will work great or not.
So this may decide whether or not I beat Estimate right now.
They don't know
So
about your base either, in case you were
yeah.
wondering.
So
I've sent you
yeah,
data on the horse
you
energy
have
cells you can use
I've been
to
practicing the tall neck
reach out to me.
for so
whether
long
we
today.
will survive or not.
Understood.
Jumping off the tall neck to save a bit of time. It's not much.
It's not
But
much.
if you die, you lose a lot.
You lose a ton, yeah. It's about 1.5 to 2 minutes of time loss, depending, I guess. Like, so anyway, we're gonna do a lot of fast traveling here. Fast travel out, fast travel to the campfire next to the door, because it's pretty fast when you're close. Elk mentioned this in ZD, but the closer you are to a fast travel point, the faster the load is in these games. It's the same for this one. So now we're gonna go and get back our Sunwing. Normally, we would get our Sunwing here in the game. We would get the override after Gemini, so you don't actually get it until late in the game. But in New Game Plus, you can get it after you establish the base. And now I'm going outside. Because we fast traveled to using a boat to San Francisco, we actually lose our charger mount too at that point. In any percent, it's actually faster to go and get your charger at another point, to fast travel out and get it. Here, it's really not. We just run up here and get our flying mount. And it's not worth the time it takes to fast travel to a campfire that's really close to a charger site. So I am going to grab a mount here, hopefully not scare it away.
We'll have to approach them quietly.
We're good.
Okay, prediction is closed.
Just in time.
61% believing that you survive.
Oh god, you are all so naive. I'm sorry for all of you. Oh god, this is a marathon. Anyway, so we do some barrel rolling. Tilda's talking about how we'll use one of these tall necks to activate some power cells that are on these dead Horus machines, and we can use those to completely shock our enemies if we drop them. There's kind of a neat late game mechanic with the Sunwing. We don't get it until this point in the game in New Game Plus, so you can't use it until you do this quest. But basically, we're locked on the Sunwing right now. We have to go to this and then get back on it, and normally we wouldn't be able to jump off of this tall neck like we would any other one if we overrode it and got the map and all that stuff in casual play. You can hop right off if you want, you know, glide off of it and it completes the tall neck. You can't do that here. You have to wait for a certain amount of dialogue from Tilda. But leave it to our wonderful community to find a way to escape off and survive the landing, and then make your way closer to your destination before you call your Sunwing back. So yeah, we're gonna do that now and hopefully survive.
Are you all healed up?
Detail you just glossed over is the point. Survive the landing.
Survive the fall. So here we go. So I have to do a jump slash and then a heavy cancel down. So we're gonna try and make that work. Oh
You're all healed up, right?
Yeah, I think so. Gonna make sure I'm pressing up now.
Tilda, hop over in the tall neck.
Good. And the
that didn't
energy
work.
cells are now primed. Simply pick one up on a Horus.
Yeah, we survived. Let's go!
Let's go!
Oh my god, I hate it.
I told you, I want to help.
So after she says, I want to help, you can call your Sunwing, and he has to pick you up here. You can't jump on your Sunwing, so if he lands, you need to keep running and call him again. The game works in a very weird way here, and if you mount the Sunwing by like jumping off of something that's taller than it, the game won't progress. You'll actually get a soft lock. So you need to get on the mount by it picking you up specifically for this quest. As part of getting off the tall neck, it's supposed to pick you up, but if you get off the tall neck and then have it pick you up, it still thinks you've done the same thing. But you can make that distance a little bit by running and close the distance to this energy cell while Tilda's, you know, yapping.
There's the energy
But
cell.
that worked out pretty well. I've been adding that heavy swing down to it, and that seems to be the trick for me. I think what's happening normally when I die is that when I do the jump slash, I jump too high with that when I get over the thing, if I just let her kind of float out there. And then when she falls, if you don't know, fall damage works on a percentage scale in this game. It's not like how much health you have. Like if I had just level 1 health, I'd still survive that fall because it's just a percentage of my health. My health has to be full. I'm gonna lose 95% of it or more from that fall because we are right at the pinnacle of where we can be without dying just by jumping off of it. There are a couple of different ways to make it work. You can do like a jump and then press R1 and R2 to do like this really cool corkscrew attack that B-Dud uses a lot in his ultra hard runs for New Game. It's
really cool.
Yeah, and it works
really
well
hard.
to get off of there as well. So I couldn't get it to work too well today, but I did get it a few times. But I like going with the jump slash and the heavy slash to pull myself down. So we kill Regala there. Skip some cutscenes.
Bye, Regala.
Bye, Regala.
Yeah, all 3 phases done within like 5 seconds.
Yep. We're gonna talk
By
to
the way, Craig,
Silence. Yeah.
I do want to let you know that Hunt went all in on no.
Congratulations, Hunt. You got scammed, son. That was a really good Regala split, so really good stuff. All right, we are approaching the end. So this is the final section of the game. We are going to head over to the Zenith home base. I'm going to do a cool shield skip that will get us some checkpoints that skips basically the entire final quest.
Time to get everyone together, so Tilda.
And head back to Tilda's house here. I'm going to turn around. Call the mount. Faster, mount, faster. And you can see that big kind of structure over there. That's the Zenith's home base. They built a giant holographic shield all the way around the island, so we can't actually get in there. Tilda knows a way to kind of get through it, and so we're headed to a campfire by those Horus arms way off in the distance there to my east, basically right over the top of my mount's head there. So I'm heading that way. There's a campfire that we have to go to start this quest, and that's kind of the point of no return for the end of the game, or at least the end of the main story, before you can beat the game, and then you'll be able to access the DLC. So we're going to do that and head our way over to get that campfire, and then we're going to fly to the right, and we will go actually out of bounds. We used to be able to get through this shield, and you'll see it here. It'll actually show up. There it is.
I don't think I can fly through that shield.
Without going out of bounds, but some of the patches for the mount kind of screwed that up. When we get outside the play area, though, things seem to work as far as clipping goes. So we're able to get the mount to pull us through the shield if it picks us up from the other side at a very specific angle. So what I'm going to attempt to do is fly the mount, drop off just as I get to the shield, let him fly through. And if you don't know this, when you dismount from a mount, if you hold your left stick in a certain direction, the mount will go in that way when you jump off. But you kind of have to do the leap off of it or the drop off of it for that to happen. So I'll try to get him to go through the shield and kind of fly left really quick. And then I'll call him back to me. He'll turn around, pick me up, and pull me right through the shield. That's the fast way to do it. He may also kind of go in the wrong direction, and I'll have to wait for him to fly around in a circle. But there's a few ways that this works. There's some other ways you can go up really high and have him catch you before you hit the ground or hit the water or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty cool trick where you can skip the entirety of the last quest, basically up until the Eric fight. So yeah, so I'm gonna wait for it to tell me I'm leaving the play area. That's where I launch myself and glide. And as soon as we get over this little ridge in the water, I'm gonna call my mount back. He's gonna grab me. I'm gonna go down towards the shield, drop off, fly him to the left, and we got it. Let's go. Ah, that was clean. Let's go.
Let's go.
Really good stuff. Wow. So yeah, you really kind of want him to get stuck like right there on the other side of the shield. Aloy can't call the mount while you're up against the shield. Like if you're swimming towards it, the game doesn't let you call it unless you're in a very specific spot. There's one spot right up against the shield where you can do it. I never hit that place. So what I do is when she lands in the water, the current will actually push you away from the shield on its own, just fast enough for you to mash the button until she whistles, and then you swim back towards the shield. If the mount's in the right position, he'll just grab you and bring you over. So there's this little tower here, and as soon as I pass this guy right here, boop, I can fast travel. And now I'm going to start the final quest.
Okay.
Skip this. We'll hear silence. And I can restart from save, and it's going to put me back where I fast traveled from. It thinks what happened basically is I got a checkpoint after this section of the game, and it just makes it like I finished all of that part of the quest, where normally it's like a minute and a half of running around on this island. So, really cool skip, saves a bunch of time, but is a little finicky, so. Anyway, I hope you're all ready for Die Machine filth.
Aloy, Die Machine filth!
Apologies for that.
Apologies for that. We're okay. As long as all but her is...
Talo is fun. Alright, let's see.
Best line.
Yes, one shot on Eric, let's go. There's a very small spot where, on the back of his neck, that you have to hit without hitting him in the helmet. So the helmet wraps around the back of his head, and you have to kind of hit him at the very tip of the top of his neck to get a crit, to get a headshot that isn't necessarily a headshot, so.
Yeah, it's so funny how all the enemies, like a vast majority of enemies, human enemies at least, have such weird hit points. So back of the neck for Eric, usually the ankles are exposed for Quinn and stuff.
Right, yeah.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, the different tribes have like different weak spots on their armor. It's kind of funny.
I have to go. I almost have him.
Okay. That wasn't fast enough. She like did a weird climb back and forth when I jumped up. But you can skip this whole dialogue if you're fast enough. If you get across to this part of the climb before Tilda stops talking, Aaron and Alva actually won't talk the whole way up. So it's how you know you've had a fast climb here. But we're getting that little bit of extra lore here at the end.
Now we have this tower with a lot of pull casts.
You there?
Yep.
Listen, I got into the network, but only
I missed it. Whatever. We're good. She jumped kind of half-assed there, but that's fine. All right, so here's the final fight. Dorian, you'll be ready with the stoppage. That's a one-shot. Tilda's dead. So Tilda, turns out she's been playing us. She wants to kidnap us and take us off the planet with all the sub-functions and Gaia and all that stuff. So, time.
GG.
Will we get like a 138?
13.
13. Let's do it. Nice. That's not bad. That's a third place run. That's not bad. Good stuff.
She tried.
Well, guys, that is that.
And she told
New Game Plus story. You have seen the entirety of the Horizon story, aside from the small in-between of Call of the Mountain, which is the PSVR 2 title that we didn't get to show. Too bad Beta didn't submit that this weekend.
Yeah, Beta, why not?
But yeah, so we're, you know, as you can see here from my background picture, we're super excited for LEGO Horizon this week. Thanks for celebrating with us. Appreciate it.
You're the last person to act sensibly in the face of impossible odds. When I learned of Nemesis
thank you
I saw
so much for showing off the Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, you bet.
I knew it was a game you would never play.
Thanks to the LEGO community, by the way, for having us. I guess a few more shout-outs. You know, you guys have been great this weekend. You guys' runs are super interesting. There's so many out of bounds and cool clips and stuff that we got to see from the LEGO games. I'm excited to see what kind of stuff we're going to find in Horizon Adventures, so should be a good time. Looking forward to collaborating with those folks and learning what we can make out of some LEGO games, but it should be fun. I'm so excited for Ashley Birch in her prime, like just being a silly person. Like, it should be a great time, so.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Last week or something, if you ask me whether I wanna speedrun Lego Horizon, I was like, yeah, I will definitely do some co-op runs, because that's fun. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, one player, two controllers. One player, two controllers. I wanna learn that shit.
That stuff can be tough. I remember trying to learn Mario Wonder and doing 2 players, and you don't even have to do it the whole time there. So, yeah, that's cool stuff.
So, yeah, that was definitely exciting to see. I had so much fun hosting this.
Elizabeth did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know, if you want to find me, I'm Greedy Old Ka on Twitch. I got Discord and all that stuff, but you can find me at the Horizon Discord as well. And like I said earlier in the run, if you guys want to learn this one, if you want to learn the New Game Plus Ultra Hard, we've got more tutorials in store for you guys. But we're doing a Learning the Horizon series where we do some live tutorial recording and then we release them on YouTube. So you guys can come in and ask questions while we teach and do all that kind of stuff. I host those. I think we'll probably do some HCD, Scar and I, coming up soon. We'll also do some DLC for this game. But right now we have a full series on the New Game Plus story and Ultra Hard runs for this game. So definitely check those out. They're really good. If you just even want to learn some of the skips casually, it's a great time. And if you want to learn just to have a really OP loadout on a New Game Plus playthrough so you can just kill things with impunity, it's also a great resource for that. So come check us out in the Discord and come see us on YouTube and Twitch, and definitely go and watch B-Dud, who is, I consider, my better half at this. I may hold the world record, but the B-Dud's the man as far as finding skips and pushing the times for us. So thanks for being here for commentary. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Always here to help.
Just being modest. Yeah. Well, thanks, Dorian, and thanks, everybody.
One more thing to say.
For a time.
If you... Oh, yeah, true. Alice brings up another important point.
GDQ.
Yeah. B-Dud got Horizon Forbidden West into GDQ.
Yeah, so
Not
he's going to be Monday night, primetime Monday night. So
Excellent.
Yeah, very nervous about it, but it's gonna be a really great showcase. So basically, what Dritty just showed off here, I'll be showing off the same thing in about 2 months from now. So yeah, it's gonna be a really great time. I'm excited.
Yeah, we've been battling at this run for a long time since the game came out. So you know, anyone looking to join the fight, we're glad to have you. We'll teach you everything we know. So come on in.
Alright, so if you got interested in Horizon runs, our Discord is the best place to be. Exclamation mark Horizon Discord in this chat, or look it up on our speedrun.com page. If anybody got interested in Lego runs, then the Lego Discord is the best place to be. So
straight away,
just exclamation point Discord. There are multiple ones going depending on what game or franchises, I guess. But the first one is like the mysterium of all of the different Lego games, as far as I understood it correctly.
Just spread the word.
So yeah,
And ask for help.
we are excited for the
I think it's because
release
they
of
always know,
Lego
and we're just
Horizon
starting to
Adventures
understand
on Thursday.
that the people of this world
And
have the
thanks
strength to
for
fight
having us.
any battle.
Thanks all the runners, all the Horizon runners, all the Lego runners to participate in this fun event.
The
Thanks
ingenuity
for
to solve any problem.
thanks to the Lego mods who made this event also possible. I wanna do a special shout out to Haxo, who has been like the other half of me, hosting all of the things.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, Cap.
Thank you.
You guys have done a great job.
And yeah, let's watch that Lego trailer one more time,
Resilience.
and then we
Rise after
Yes,
call
let's
it a
do-
night, a weekend. And
As for
yeah,
me,
I'm super happy with how it went.
I can't say
Thanks
I'm
everybody for
afraid.
being awesome. And on to
What lies ahead?
Lego Horizon.
That was dope.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Oh, that
You're
actually turned
never
out
gonna
better.
keep me down.
Yeah, that's
Hunting machines away.
Snyder one cost me like 30 seconds. That would have been 37.
I get knocked down!
Oh no, you don't.
And then the Lego, like, this would have been like probably a 136 with those two would have went well. So this was a pretty good run to showcase. So I'm happy with it.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, those being the worst, it was not really didn't hurt it too much.
No, and like we can explain what went wrong.